Lisa, fight back.
Yay, Al! Oh, thank you. Yay, Bruce.
Oh, right.
Oh my God, the best cheese.
All right, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming. To have the midsummer lull quite as badly as we did the last 2 years, the action certainly did slow down a bit in August and September. However, that didn't keep Kulis Cup anglers from putting in work, and the leaderboard shows the dedication. With the large numbers of big fish being weighed in this year, the anglers finishing in the top 3 spots in the Kulis Cup leaderboard surely earned their rankings. Stretching from April to October, the fishing season is very, very long, as you guys all know. And while most awards celebrate a personal or team achievement, there's never a season that goes by without a mishap or two. Or 30. For the second year, the Kulis Cup Committee would like to continue by presenting the annual I've Got a Good Feeling About This award. Named after an oft-heard Bruceism, this award celebrates an event or action by an individual that didn't exactly exude Kulis Cup greatness. Whether it be a one-time lapse in judgment, an embarrassing mistake, or a common occurrence, very few of us are professionals 100% of the time. So the Kulis Cup has actually taken several nominations this year for the I've Got a Good Feeling About This award. And looking back, we have a few favorites. So we have Pete unknowingly dropping his cell phone into the fish toad on Jeff's boat.
I didn't know I was on here.
I didn't know I was on here.
We have Erin Red Rage Berry slipping down the wet boat ramp, snapping a rod, and causing an explosion of coffee.
I was crying because I lost my
Pretty
coffee.
embarrassing. We were down to 1 rod that trip. Pete getting his line caught on a boat, dragged across the water, and then snapping his pole over his knee out of frustration.
We got a new pole out of it.
Jim Guru Dooley taking a nasty spill with his kayak in the wash. Jim here?
Yeah.
Jim's still here. Okay.
What?
I don't believe it. Go prove it.
Is it on film?
Lucy Pope handing off her kayak paddle to a boater, then forgetting to get it back before pedaling ashore. Did you ever get that back? No. She got to shore. She's like, "Where the hell's my paddle?" Oh, I gave it to the boater. Bella needing x-rays for her fingers that she hurt while swimming, and then somehow slamming her elbow in the car door. Not her finger, her elbow. Bully, John Yule, and almost Lucy having poles dragged into the water by fish and miraculously all being recovered by casters from shore.
I love you.
Bully, actually Bully and John Yule both had keepers on their lines too, so that was pretty cool.
Hey, there was a keeper on Lucy's too.
Yes.
Yes,
Almost so, Bully, again, hysterically tumbling over everything in sight, including a cornhole board, as he attempted to reel in the bluefish. He fell over like 3 or 4 times on the way in.
The biggest bluefish this year.
Bella's was almost as big and she didn't trip over anything. Mark Lubeski and Brad Hall both just days apart, mind you, dropping potential Kulis Cup winning fish from their bogas off the kayak. Vicky slicing open her thumb with pruning shears. Tony dropping, then recovering Bruce's rod out of the kayak.
Tony.
Tom, Brad, and Lone Wolf getting lost in the fog and kayaking all the way to Long Point, leading to Tom's back being thrown out for like 3 or 4 weeks. Lone Wolf snapping a rod on Jeff's boat, Pete snapping a rod mid-cast, and John Yule snapping a rod landing a bluefish. Bully having a bottle of wine, and then finding his keys the next morning in the freezer. Okay, I've seen Bully like 3 or 4 times already, I gotta admit.
I didn't bring any wine tonight.
Pete losing a monster fish from the beach to a seal in the first wave that perhaps would have beat leader at the time, Vicky. But he said it was a blessing because he doesn't want to beat the wife. And Kenny almost losing a finger to a tuna. Most recently, just like 2 or 3 weeks ago. The list goes on and on, as you can see. This was just our favorites. There's so many more. There's a lot of mishaps over the course of the season. And, of course, Bully seems to be involved in almost every...
Was there wine involved? Was there wine involved?
Gets him an honorary second place. Oh! You get a little something. Bully was the winner last year, and even though his name was mentioned in like 50% of these, we figured that it wouldn't be right to give it to him again this year. Because there's somebody that kind of outdid him. So this year's award goes to another individual, and he's not here, but I think somebody will be here to pick up his award for him. So, excited to try out his brand new motorized kayak. Ryan Nunes pulled up to the beach and loaded the kayak with his fishing gear. While the kayak initially felt a bit tippy, he figured that he just needed to get used to it and continue to paddle into deeper water. As Bruce would say, I've got a good feeling about this. With only a minute or two gone by, we all looked over to see Ryan swimming in the frigid water, holding on to his now upside-down kayak. While he got in safely, he did lose a bit more than just his pride. He also lost a pole and other fishing gear that sunk straight to the bottom when he flipped. But, you know, Ryan doesn't give up that easily. Committed to making up for his blunder, Ryan then made the long walk to Wood End later that night in hopes of finding some fishing close. As Bruce would say,
Got a good feeling about this.
I've got a good feeling about this. Within minutes, Ryan snapped his brand new pole in half on a cast, relegating himself to a long, fishless walk back to the truck. And we're talking over a mile through the sand, over slippery rocks, pitch black, miserable ride, miserable weekend, just miserable altogether. Nothing about it was fun. So Ryan takes home this I've got a good feeling about this award in honor of his weekend down the shitter. We really hope that it goes to somebody else next year.
Oh.